Terry Spencer, professional boxing coach, 37. You're at TS Stable, let's go.
Mr. Terry Spencer, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, Jonathan.
Well, I'm very lucky to be here talking to you, one of the best young coaches in the country, up and coming. Sounds like you're new on the block, but you're not. You've been around quite a while, haven't you?
For a long time now. It feels like been on the fence for a long time, and I still look at like I am on the fence. You know what I mean? Still at the bottom of the ladder, working our way up. We've got some really good prospects coming through, and give us a year's time. I think you'll see a lot more of us then.
Well, I want to find out about the man. I want to find out about where you come from and how it's all kind of got to where you are now, because I know it's been a lot of hard work and effort, and you said, you've been in boxing for years and years.
Yeah.
But just tell us about you. You were a good amateur, weren't you?
Yeah, I was okay. I could just really punch. I wasn't the most technical. Boxed for Gemini in Speak, Phoenix in Warrington. Yeah, so I've been around. But my main inspiration was me uncle Robin. He had like 320 odd bouts. He was from Bethnal Green. He was like on the air of like the Kray twins and all that stuff like that.
Wow.
And I remember seeing all the pictures and old footage and stuff like that, old boxing gloves. He's not around there and he's not around anymore, God bless him. But it was he was a big inspiration to me, huge, seeing all that as a kid. Because I wasn't a fighter growing up. I played footy majority of my life.
Yeah.
I had my first bout when I was like 17 and I just fell in love with the sport. And that's when I came more intrigued in like my Uncle Robin and stuff like that. So that was my inspiration. So I've been around it a long time.
That must have been amazing, that era.
Oh yeah, it was.
Proper sawdust on the floor, gyms.
Yeah. I think he won the ABAs 4 times.
Wow.
So that was a big inspiration, yeah. That's what got me going.
And boxing, I mean, you either love it or you hate it, right? And you said you fell in love with it at 17. What was the plan when you were 17 with boxing?
I was just enjoying it. I was just enjoying it, and the coach was going, you can't half punch, blah, blah, blah. And I just loved the training aspect of it, because when I was 17, you're at that age, you know, you're going out, you're partying, girls, what have you. And I sort of went down the other route and just started boxing, enjoying fitness. And I took it serious from the day I went through that gym. I was on and off with the fighting, I'd stop and start for numerous reasons, but I just loved it and I've never looked back. I'm still here now.
You are?
Tired and old.
You say you're tired and old, but you're not that old. So you've had a good grounding, you've been in the sawdust gyms, you've been in and around that sort of old school respect and, you know, hard graft of boxing. When did you decide that you were going to be a coach?
When I was about 27, I was about 27 years of age. What happened was I was umming and ahhing with carrying on boxing. Cut a long story short, what happened was I went over to Dubai. I moved over there with my girlfriend. Moved over to Dubai and was coaching all like the Sheikh's sons and stuff like that in the palaces and the schools and private schools and stuff like that. Yeah. So that's where the coaching aspect come in. So it started with like really posh kids, you know, royalty if you like. That's what they were. And I just got a feel for it. I was enjoying, just felt like I was changing people's lives at that point. Was there about 2 years, and then I came home, and I just started like padding people and stuff. I had a small little lock-up just up the road from here, a lot smaller than this. And I just started doing pads and like PT sessions out of it and stuff, and I was like, I'm enjoying this. Then I thought, you know what, I'm going to get my amateur badges, go down the amateur route. I swear to God, Jonathan, the room was tiny. If you seen our old gym, you wouldn't believe it. Can't even believe I had an amateur squad in there.
Like a garage kind of thing?
It was a garage, that's what it was. Ask me dad, it was a garage with a ring in it and two boxing bags. But, you know, I was young, I was hungry. I still am, I've still got the same hunger now. And we're here now, we're in this gym. But going back to that gym, I think I had about 15 carded seniors.
Wow.
I do not know how I'd done it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, right, just watch the space, you can work in this area. It was all inside work, you couldn't move. So then it just grew from there. I was there for about 3.5 years to 4 years I was there, and then moved to here then. Took a big risk with this place. Overheads are massive, just keep going up all the time as well. So just, you know, I had to find a way to just generate money through PTs, classes and whatever. So me plan all along was to eventually go into the pros. I didn't have any pros at that point. But I had like Leon from the amateurs, who was like...
So we're talking about Leon Willins.
Leon Willins, sorry, yeah. He came to me when I was about 15, I think, or 16. He turned pro at 19. I was in here then.
How old were you then at that point?
31, 32. I'm 37 now.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 32.
So you've been with Leon quite a long time.
Long time, yeah. He's like my son.
Don't say that too loud.
So, and then it just grew from there.
So it's all come out of that very tiny little sort of lock-up, if you like.
It's madness. It's madness. A lot of grit, tears as well. It's just hard. It was hard. It still is hard.
Were there any times when you were in that lock-up that you thought, why am I doing this? What should I just give this up?
Yeah, all the time. Like, I'll do that because I'm so hungry for it and enthusiastic. I keep going and going and going, and sometimes I'll just hit a point and I just flatline. I'm just like, can't do it. I'm just like, you know what? I just want to turn my phone off. It's just burnout. It's called burnout. I do it all the time. Every few months, I'll just burn out and like I just don't want to do anything. But you know that you just got to keep working hard, and hopefully it'll pay off one day.
So you're in a lock-up. You've got 15 carded amateurs. You're taking them for their tournaments and so on. I mean, as a young man, as a young aspiring coach at that point, I mean, that must have been, you know, a bit of a thrill, because we all love boxing. It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a thrill because it was all new to me, you know, cornering the lads and taking them to competitions, taking them to club shows, because, you know, you're a new club on the scene and you want to make an impact, and we didn't at first. As you know, the amateurs are hit and miss. You win some, you lose some, you get robbed, whatever. Do you know what I mean? But them first few shows of taking them, it was just like, wow, this is what I want to do. That's when I knew then I really wanted to be a coach, because I've always been passionate. And we done really well. We didn't win any national titles, but we got to a few national finals and semis and quarters.
All from a little lock-up? All
from a little lock-up. If you've seen it, Jonathan, you just would not believe it. You would not. I'll have to show you some pictures. It's crazy. But we done really well, and that was just of pure passion and drive. I've still got the same to this day, just to keep going. But like going back to burnout and stuff like that, I've just got to look after myself, because I'll just keep going and going and going. My missus must hate me. I'll go home and it's boxing. I'm on the phone, I'm sorting out sparring, I'm studying boxing. It's just my life. But it's everything. If you want to get to them heights, that's what you've got to do. You've got to go above and beyond, and I'm willing to do that.
Who was your inspiration? Who was your sort of boxing inspirations?
What, fighter-wise?
Yeah.
Roberto Duran was always my favourite.
I met him last year.
This day. Did you? Yeah.
He's an amazing man.
Is he?
Yeah.
I'd love to meet Roberto Duran. I'd love that. Just everything about him, from his boxing IQ to his sneaky inside work. I've studied endless hours of him. That's just one of them. I've got so many. Even the present, there's just so many fighters who will study, because obviously all fighters are different. Got different attributes: long arms, short arms, stocky build, fast twitch, slow twitch. There's so many different factors to it. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to. I feel like I can adapt the fighter to their attributes and what they'll be good at. Well, I know I can. I know I can do that. So
you've gone quite well in the lock-up. You've had a few years of getting used to being a coach and sort of going out in the amateur world and getting used to the crazy decisions that you get in amateur boxing. Not that I'm allowed to say that.
I'm used to it now.
Yeah.
I'm used to
so
it.
You're obviously supported by your mum and your dad, Nigel and Debs,
Yep.
who are lovely people, by the way. Anyone who doesn't know them, they're beautiful people.
Yeah.
And you then decide, well, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to open up a big gym. What was that moment like when you decided you were actually going to do it and it was going to happen?
Well, we came to view it. It must be getting on. Someone asked me this question before, how long have you been here? And I think it's about 4 years now. I came to look at it, and then I've always been good at visualising, and I knew how I wanted my gym. I've still not got it how I want it, because it's expensive, but I walked in this lockup and it was empty. I was just like, I need this space. I can just see me fighters in here, and even the gym aspect, running classes and all stuff like that. So I made the move it wasn't the right time because COVID hit a week later.
Oh.
COVID hit and I had to put money down and all sorts. So I thought, if I can get through that time and have a thriving gym like you have now, I'll get through anything, because that was a rough time. I went from being dead happy, like, yes, I've got this gym, and then that crazy thing happened.
Were you working still away from boxing as well to fund that?
Yeah, I was landscape gardening with my dad. Yeah, we ran that for years and it was doing really well, but my dad didn't really want to do it anymore, started stepping away because I was going more on the boxing side as well.
So you're working and you're doing all this as well?
Yeah.
So you're on 100-hour weeks?
Yeah, and I came from Dubai, didn't I? So the landscaping, and then we went to Dubai, and then I came back. I was just that hungry, nothing was going to stop me, I just knew what I wanted.
I want to touch on Dubai because that sounds to the public like, wow, going to Dubai teaching royalty must be amazing, lucrative. What was that actually like?
It was an eye-opener, put it that way. It was an eye-opener, definitely. But yeah, you're just in, because you're in these rich schools and posh schools with a lot of money. It was just crazy. So I worked for this fella, and he sort of headhunted me from over there and said, look, will you basically come and run the schools for me and stuff like that. So I was driving all around Dubai, certain time slots had to be at certain schools for this time, reading a map.
No sat nav then?
Yeah, there was. Not that old.
Not that old.
This is like 2014 it was. So yeah, that was definitely an eye-opener, and I feel like it made me the person I am today, Dubai, definitely. I've grown up fast. Definitely.
And it was hot.
Very hot. I'd come home in the summer because it was just far too hot. Far too hot. I left my car actually on the... couldn't believe I'd done it. My car, I left it on the top of the car park. Height of summer. Idiot. And then I came back to my car and the steering wheel's like morphed into the dashboard. I didn't even know that was possible. Like melted in. I was like, oh my God.
Wow.
My boss went, what are you doing parking that up there? But that was another story.
So one burnt steering wheel later, you decide you're coming back, as you've said. You've opened up this place. Must have been jubilation, as you've touched on, that you've finally got the gym, you really wanted it, and then COVID hits, and I mean that across the country and across the world just changed everything for a couple of years. What was that period of time like for you?
Just a crazy time, because I took this big lease on with this. It was a 5-year lease at the time, and I was just like, what am I gonna do? It was just a weird time, wasn't it? No one knew what was going to happen. I think I got a grant off the loan. I did get a grant from the bank. That helped me over, like a bounce back loan or something like that. So that helped me over. But in the meantime, I was making tutorials and doing a lot of online stuff at the time. I had to adapt.
Yeah. I
had to adapt, and me and my missus were selling sweets as well. Believe it or not, yeah. I'm going and delivering sweets.
All COVID friendly and adherent, of course.
Yeah. So it was just a crazy time, but everyone else was in the same boat, wasn't they? Do you know what I mean? But me worry was that I've signed this lease. What is going to happen? When are we going to come out with this?
And I guess the people around you, those are the people that helped you out.
Of course, yeah. My mum and dad and everyone. Yeah, but them tutorials went really well. Yeah, I was coming down here and I was doing a tutorial on my own on the bags of, I don't know, specific drills of why you should throw this and stuff like that, breaking it down. I enjoyed it, but talking to the camera is not really for me.
I hadn't noticed, mate. I hadn't noticed. I mean, once that period had sort of finished, the relief must have been like, probably the biggest relief of your life at that point. Of
course, because there was there was no shows, there was nothing, was there? There was nothing going on. And at the time, I think Leon Willings had just turned pro and Josh Breeden with Kevin Marie. And we were trying to think of all these ideas of what to do, and then slowly everything just started opening back up, and that was that, yeah.
And I'm guessing through that time you probably put your brain to work and got a bit of a plan sort of in your head.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
What was that plan? And it doesn't matter if it's changed now, but what was that plan at that time?
At that time, the fighters he had at the time, what I'd done is I wrote in me journal and think what heights can they hit in the sport. This is just one example what I've done in COVID. Like what height, like he could win this, he could do this, and that's something I've always done. Do you know what I mean? I'm a realist, and like I said, I believe in visualization and I do it an awful lot. But being real, where can you get to? What can she do? And stuff like that, yeah. So there was a lot of planning.
And you're honest with your fighters, you've mentioned that before. And you can spot a good fighter from an amateur.
Look, if you've got a top amateur and he's bouncy and stuff like that, sometimes... I've always loved the pro game. I'm not saying I don't like the amateur game, but I've always loved the pro game. The transition is just totally different. If you've got a top amateur bouncing and stuff like that, it's more in the pros. Set your feet, move your head, look for them power shots. But sometimes, look, they can adapt really well. Like Ricardo Jenkins, for example, he was a top amateur. He's just gone like duck to water like that to the professional game.
Yeah.
It's amazing to see, but sometimes it can be a lot more tricky than that.
So what led you to the decision to actually start pushing into the pro side? Because obviously at this point you've got the gym open, it's still amateurs. Where did you get to? How did you come to that conclusion?
It was always on my mind. It was always on my mind to be a professional boxing coach, always. Because I've been through the amateurs myself, I've been through the whole amateur circuit, and I just started disliking it, to be honest. I started disliking it, decisions, what have you. And like I said, my true love was always the pro game. So it was always in the back of my head to be a professional boxing coach. And here I am today.
Yeah, you can hear it in the background, what's going on.
Yeah.
It must give you an immense sense of pride that you've gone from, 17 years old in the sawdust gyms through to actually having your own gym, which has got a thriving amateur side and a very, very good professional stable.
Yeah, but a few people have said that, but I just don't like getting complacent. I never give myself any gratitude, because I still look at myself like this pro game, I'm still at the bottom. There's an awful long way to go. There's a big mountain to climb, and I'm willing to climb it, do you know what I mean? But I still keep looking at myself like I'm here. And that's what just keeps me going and going and going and going. And I won't stop till I reach them heights.
And I can see it in your eyes that you're going to get there, aren't you?
Well, of course, yeah, definitely. You need the talent to go along with it. And I feel like we're getting there now. Got a really good stable, and we're ready to break through.
And the stable is, as you've said, pretty good. You've had a lot of very good amateurs. You've had a lot of good professionals in here. When you first opened up, obviously, you've had former, Team GB athletes. You've had athletes that are, well known, and you've now come to almost the modern day now, where we are with a real good crop of very high quality professionals here, haven't you? Yeah, it's going well. We've got
Ricardo Jenkins, William Birchall, Leon Willins, Jack Power, Leighton Birchall's come to us now as well.
Okay.
Matthew Rennie. We've got a really good stable, and they're all on the up. So it's just exciting times, but you just got to keep grinding hard, keep your head down, working hard as a unit.
An observation I'm going to make on these guys that you've got in at the moment is there's a real big mix. So you've got someone like, for example, Ricardo, who's just turned pro. He's absolutely bouncing. He looks like he's been a pro for 5 years. He's not even had one pro fight. He's not had his debut yet. And then you've got guys like Matthew Rennie, who are towards the top end of their career. They're fighting at English and British levels, and maybe lower European levels. How do you handle the mix of those guys in the gym?
You just got to know what hat to wear, I suppose, because Matty's experienced. He's 16-1, if I'm right.
Yeah.
So Matty's experienced, and I feel like the lads look up to him a bit, and because he is the more experienced one, and Jack Power as well. Jack's relatively new, still a novice pro, 4-0. Jack's 29 now, so we're ready to push on.
He's a hard hitter, isn't he, Jack?
Jack's a great talent. He's a great talent, and he's got that grit and determination. Look, some days Jack will come in here and, you know, he's flat, he's down for whatever reason. He'll get in and he'll spar phenomenal. When he gets in that ring, everything just goes.
Jack's a former army guy, isn't he?
Former army Jack, yeah. He had a ruck of fights in the arms. So I mean, he's been through the whole army system. Great talent. Great talent.
A bit like Nigel Benn. Nigel was in the army, wasn't he?
He's a box fighter. So Jack, when it gets gritty and he wants to fight, he'll fight. I don't like him doing that. Because he can't half box as well. But he's a great box fighter. I'm excited with Jack.
And you've got, I've completely forgotten his name now. You've had John Edo in here.
John Edo, yeah.
Listen.
Love Edo.
We have to talk about Edo because Edo's just an absolute lunatic scouser.
He's an absolute animal, Edo. One of the hardest men I've ever met, John. I swear to God.
He likes America though, doesn't he?
Don't talk to me about America with Edo.
No, I'm going to bring this up.
Go on.
I'm going to bring this up because Edo got it in his head that he wanted to go and box in America. And I think he's been out there 3 times and boxed 2 rounds. Tell me what went on with all that.
Oh, I don't know. He was just getting opportunities, and the 2 times he went over, it fell. Has he been over 3, John?
I think it was 3, yeah.
I think it was 2.
Was it 2?
2. 1 fell through.
Oh, 1 fell through and he never went, did he?
That was it. Yeah. So we was scheduled for 3 over there. But at least he had 1. He had a good 6-rounder with some Mexican kid. I just love Edo. But he's just been unlucky his last 2 fights. Look, he's stepped up. He's gone from 4-rounders to 10-rounders, Edo. Yeah. With short notice. And put in 2 great fights against Lewis Wood and Abdul Khan. Abdul was the most recent one for the Silver Commonwealth title. What a fight.
That was an amazing fight.
What a fight. But, you know, if anyone's ever going to grind it out, it's Edo. But have you ever seen me so erratic in that corner? It's only when Edo's boxing.
With someone like John Edo, obviously he's at a time of his life now where really it wouldn't be a great idea to carry on, right? How as a coach do you approach that? Because that's got to be a sad time for you.
With Edo, yeah, defo. Look, he's not let go yet. But I was on the scene with Edo when I was boxing. I was at Gemini and he was at Golden Glove, so I've known John for years. You know, he's a great lad, but you know, when it's time to hang him up, I don't know. You know what Edo's like. You might want one more fight.
There'll be another one in Miami next week.
But we've been offered big fights on matchroom cards. Oh, at when? 9 days? Nah, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's like he's not a piece of meat, and that's what these promoters do sometimes. So with Edo, but he had 3 weeks' notice for that Abdul Khan fight. If he had a full camp, he would have beat him. I know he would.
But and Abdul's a good fighter.
Abdul's great, and he's a great lad as well. He's a great fighter, and he's a top lad. I really like Abdul.
A lot of respect shown in that fight, and that was nice.
There was. Before and after. Great fight, and I hope Abdul goes on to bigger and better things. I'm sure he will.
And you touched on Jack Power, and he's had 4 fights now. He's impressive. He works hard. How do you kind of, and I call them vultures, but I shouldn't, because they're promoters. They're wanting to get the best fighters on their shows to get the best audience, you know, satisfaction. But it's also a sport. It's also, you know, you've got to look after the boxers, of course. How do you calm a boxer down at that stage? Because Jack's going to rock it pretty quickly, I think.
100%. Look, he's got the whole of run going behind him, Jack. He's a massive ticket seller, and but he thrives under pressure, Jack. He really does. It's just down to me to keep him grounded and not go away with the furries, if you like, do you know what I mean? Or vultures, whatever you want to call them, whoever's round him, promoters, whatever. So it's just about keeping him grounded. But he's a true student, Jack, and he wants to learn. And when you're in that corner, he's laser focused, even in sparring, and you're having a chat and stuff like that. And he is going to blow up. So his next fight's on the Queensbury card, on the Netball undercard, on the 15th of March in Liverpool, 6-rounder. And I'm excited for that fight and what's going to come after it. You've not seen the best of Jack yet because he's been boxing journeyman. These journeymen are starting to come at him a bit now. Jack needs someone coming on to him to perform, like any fighter, I suppose.
And then, of course, Leon, you've known for a long, long time, brought him through from the amateurs. Obviously, you've said you didn't like doing that, but Leon's the exception. He's a very talented young man, isn't he?
Yeah, very talented. Like going back to the spit and sawdust gym, he come in with this mop of hair at 16. His feet were all over the gaff. He was doing all these mad movements.
Not much has changed then.
But I could see something in him, and I was just like, there's something about that kid. He was very fast twitch fibre. He can always bang. There was just something about him, and I just still to this day I know where he's going to get to, and you know he's matured a lot now. He's found his style. He hits so hard, so explosive, but he's elusive with it. He's an all-rounded fighter now. Still got a lot to learn, of course.
He's still quite a young man.
Of course, he's 23 years of age. Do you know what I mean?
That's mad.
That's it. He's still got his whole career ahead of him, but it means a lot with me and Lee because I've had him from since a kid. Do you know what I mean? And Ricardo, I've had Ricardo since he was this big. But all my fighters mean everything to me. I put my heart and soul into every single one of them who come in this gym, and they give it me back, and that's going to be success.
I know there's a few others that you know you've had and you might have in the future. Listening to you there saying that you put everything into them, and then going back to when you started in your garage, how do you think you've kind of grown as a coach?
You've got to go through all the shit, to be honest. Do you know what I mean? Putting your time and effort into it, and then ta-da, I'm gone now. But that's the thing with trainers, professional boxing trainers, we've got no security. There's no security. Do you know what I mean? You've just got to build that bond, and hopefully you take them to them heights and they stay with you. But again, there's no security in this game. Fighters can get up and go, but if ever fighters ever want to go, that's fine. There's no issue with me with that. Do you know what I mean? They want to grow. They got one career. I get it. I totally get that. But yeah, it's disheartening when you put your life and soul into fighters, and then so many hours of hard work, no money till they get to the top. Do you know what I mean? Bits and bobs here and there, but going back to that passion, that's why I do it, and that's why I'm still doing it to this day.
So, what people don't realise is boxers, even professional boxers who are maybe even boxing on TV, a lot of them still have ticket deals. They're not signed by the promoters. And what a ticket deal is they sell as many tickets as they possibly can, and a promoter will give them 10% of the ticket money, or whatever percentage it is, 20%, depends on the promoter, depends how high up they are. As a coach, you've touched on, you put love, sweat, tears into this. People would imagine that you would get quite a nice chunk of money out of that, but that's not true, is it?
No, not at all. You know what I mean? We're entitled to 10% through the board of control. I suppose you can negotiate more when it goes over a certain price, but yeah, 10%, it's not a lot of money for the amount of time and effort you put in. You put your, like, going back to your life and soul. You put your life. I'll go home tonight and I'll be so inspired now. I'll be doing something on my phone. It's a never-ending job. It doesn't stop. So, 10%, no, it's not enough money at all. They should up that. Do you know what I mean? But the fighters getting in the ring, I totally get that. Do you know what I mean? But I'm there with them, day in, day out, grinding.
And you think that with all this Arab money coming in and the opportunities coming out, that more and more boxers are going to start to get greedy, maybe?
Yeah, possibly, but it's on the flip side. It's great for boxing, isn't it? The Saudis, it's fantastic. People are getting paid a lot more money and they're getting paid well, so that's changed the game. So hopefully it stays. Not sure how long this is going to last for, but it's certainly flip-sided the game for the better, though.
Well, obviously,
financially.
I know you've not been out there, but I've been out to Saudi Arabia and I've seen the setups and I understand a little bit more about it by being there firsthand.
Yeah.
And you know, we've mentioned a few fighters that you've had down here for sparring, for example, people like Brad Ray and so on, who get just starting to get opportunities on the undercards, for example, and they're getting paid probably what they get for probably a Commonwealth title fight here, for example.
Yeah. So,
as a coach, are you looking at that and going, I've got to keep my guys ready in case I get a phone call?
Yeah, definitely, because they're at that stage now. Obviously, going back to, we talked about Leon before with the weight. They've got to be in a weight bracket though, haven't they? Do you know what I mean? If they're getting on that call, like it was great to see Brad get that call. I was buzzing for him. I really was. Just a shame it fell through. because Bradford, going back to Brad, he's been grinding his ass off on small halls for God knows how long. Do you know what I mean? And then he gets that opportunity. I was so happy for him. But yeah, he didn't get that, but I'm sure he'll get a lot more. But yeah, going back to the lads, you've got to stay ready now, just in case these Saudi calls come.
And what do you think about the Saudi things? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? I think
it's brilliant. I think it's great for boxing. I think it's fantastic because it was stagnant a bit and new lease of life now for boxing. It's amazing. Like that show at the weekend. Wow, what a show! Amazing.
And Josh Padley, for example.
Yeah, perfect example.
Small hall ticket seller, big ticket seller.
Yeah. Bit
like Jack. I mean, world title shot with 4 days, 5 days.
Madness. But he was ready, wasn't
he? He was ready. Made weight as well.
Yeah. Mm.
So as a professional boxing coach, you it's never going to stop. It's always going to be another fighter. There's always going to be another opportunity. There's always going to be an injury. There's always going to be something in the program that you have to get over. What about you? Who looks after you?
No one. Who looks after me? Don't know. I can't even look after myself.
Well, I know that you've got a very close team around you, and I know you're very close to your partner.
And look, no, we've got a really good support network. We've got my mum and dad. They're brilliant. Do you know what I mean? My dad basically manages majority of the lads as well. He's always sorting forms out with the board or on the phone, booking medicals, etc., etc.
It's a real big family community down here.
Of course it is, yeah. You feel that when you walk in the gym, don't you? And that was my whole plan, to create that. Everyone walks in there, you know, says, Terry, you've changed my life. I'm like, what? You just don't realise, do you know what I mean? Until on me drive, it takes me about half an hour to get home, and I always reflect on the day on the way home. And some kid said that to me, Terry, you don't realise what you've done for me. And the parents say it. There's no better feeling in the world, and you're like, are we really doing that here? So it just shows what sort of love in the community we've built in this gym. Yeah, we've got the pro side and so on, but this gym as a community, people come in, they just love it. I love coming into work. I love it.
I walked through the door tonight and it's just buzzing in here.
Buzzing all
people
the time.
Doing PTs, there's classes going on, you're doing private clients still.
Yep, still, yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you would rather not be doing private clients, but at the same time, you just can't give it up, can you?
No, but I might have to knock on the head soon. I'm that busy, really busy now with the professionals. But yeah, it's we've built a really good community-run gym here. It's great, it really is. It took time, but the feel you get for when you come in, it's humbling. I've give everything now to the pros, but I'm still fully involved with the AMs. Do you know what I mean? We still run shows, etc., etc.
Your shows are great, by the way.
They're great, aren't they? Our home shows are brilliant, always packed. And there's nothing better from seeing, you know, a quiet, shy kid, whatever's going on at home, whatever's going on at school, and they get in that ring and they flourish. Then there's no better feeling. Like some kids will come in, they won't even talk to you. I've seen some kids in, they go and sit in the corner and they're dead shy, but I always make sure, or my mum or my dad, or any of the coaches here, will go over and make them feel welcome in this gym, and it changes life. But not just this boxing gym. Boxing gyms change lives. That's what they do. They're not normal gyms.
So amateur shows flourishing. Your dad is obviously a big part of that, and obviously all the family. I come to some of your amateur shows, and it's just a beautiful place to be when everybody's happy and a lot of positivity.
Yeah.
You're very passionate about the professionals as well, and you know, just recently, last 12, 18 months, you've just started now to start getting noticed. I introduced you at the beginning of this as, you know, one of the country's best up and coming young coaches, and that is the thought around the boxing world. Terry Spencer's starting to be known. Now, I know that you don't particularly like all that limelight, but your boxers are starting to do very, very well, which obviously brings a little bit of, you know, limelight to you. You've done well, and I mean, last year, for example, Leon Willins, he got an opportunity to box on a boxer show at the O2 Arena in front of 20,000 people, 16,000 people it was, against Ben Whittaker. And he was the first professional boxer to take Ben all the way.
Yeah.
What the hell was that like when you get that phone call and you're going to go on a show like that and you've not done that before?
We were sparring at Jennings. I got the phone call off Leon's manager, Nelson. Great fella, by the way.
Don't say that. Don't say that. No, he's a good lad.
Yeah, I was at Jennings, and I think Leon was sparring Mark Jeffers at the time, and I got a phone call. He went, can you talk a minute? I was like, yeah. And Nelson never rings me unless something's solid, set. He went, Leon might have an opportunity to box Ben Whittaker. I went, so he is then. So he is. You penciled it in. He went, just started laughing and put. So we spoke about money, so on, so on. I spoke to Lee. You know what Leon's like?
You fight anyone?
Lee, do you want to box Ben Whittaker? When? 9 days. He went, oh, may as well. I was just like, mate, you're boxing Whittaker. Just have a bit of something about you. But you know what? He's just not arsed, is he? He's just not arsed.
Trusts you, doesn't he?
Yeah, of course. And he'd recently come off his Central Area win. Yeah, in Liverpool. So
good performance as well.
Yeah, really good performance. I think it must have been about 5 weeks later. So he was still in the gym a little bit. He didn't blow up too much. That was probably the only camp he didn't blow up, and it was a blessing. So 9 days notice, and we took it, and God, that was just a surreal experience, because we've gone from small hall shows straight into the O2 Arena, 20,000 people. It was just like, wow. Like, even from the press conference to the weigh-in and stuff like that. But going back to visualisation, I knew he was going to box Whittaker. I knew it. Probably not that soon, but I knew he was going to box Ben at some point, and it happened, and it just went so fast and quick. What an experience.
Now I've got to ask you about something, because there's a clip that was on Sky Sports and on Ringwalk Media of you calling Ben Whittaker a rat in the corner, and it went viral. I think I've done about 3.5 million views on it. Jesus. Sky did about 5 million views on it. What was going through your head at that point? Mid-fight, and he's calling you a rat in the middle of boxing Leon.
Very unprofessional. I do not know. You're just that in the zone. I think he told me to shut up, Ben, didn't he? He went, shut up.
And you just kept calling him rat.
I don't know where that come from, but again, it just goes back to passion and stuff like that. That wasn't a Ratic corner, that was a John Edo corner, that. So yeah, but you know, we've seen Ben since. Leon sparred him since. He's a great lad, great talent, and I speak to him on a regular basis.
And that's nice from you know, someone like Ben Whittaker, who the public have a very different opinion of.
Yeah,
he's actually a very good guy, isn't he?
I like him. Yeah, he's sound. It's not what he comes across, you know what I mean? It's a bit of a circus act, if you like. Yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah, stayed in contact.
And that
he's not a rat.
That he's still a rat. You can't say that.
I said he's not a rat.
You said he's still a rat. No. And that, like you touched on, that whole big production, you know, press week, you know, you got open workouts on a Wednesday, press conference on a Thursday, weigh in on a Friday. It's all very, very public. How did you deal with that as a coach?
I was more, it was straight thinking, I just kept talking to Lee, how are you, and so on, but it's like trying to get blood out of a stone, trying to get anything out of Leon. Do you know what I mean? But over the period of time, I've realised, since having him as a kid, it was more his mannerisms and stuff like that. I know when he's anxious, I know when he's nervous and stuff like that. And he took it in his stride. But yeah, going to them presses and stuff like that, I'd get back to the hotel room, I was like, wow, I need to lie down. That was intense. God knows how he feels. Whilst making weight, he had to cut quite a bit of weight. It was just surreal, Jay. It was a surreal experience, and you know, once you hit them heights of being on them shows, you don't want to go back down. You want to stay up there, and that's where the stable's going now. It's going them ways. So yeah, more of it.
We've mentioned you've got a couple of the Birchall brothers over here now recently. William, who's going to make his debut, I believe, very shortly in Liverpool, and Leighton as well. That must make you feel, as a coach, like you're doing something right.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, 100%. We've just got to keep doing what we're doing. Me and Jamie, I've got me assistant Jamie Walsh, fantastic coach, really good coach. Me and Jay work really good as a unit, and it shows. Look, people aren't just coming to us just for no reason. They see the work we put in, and they're getting the results. Not always get the results, but that's boxing for you. But they can see where the gym's going to go, I think, more than anything. William Birchall and Leighton Birchall just recently come to us. Wow, what prospects they're going to be. They really are. It's just keeping them grounded.
And if anyone can,
great family, really good family, really respectful, really talented, and everyone's bouncing off each other in the gym. It's great.
And obviously, you're working now with a lot of the promoters that you perhaps haven't done before. Queensbury, you've got Warren Boxing Management. You've worked with Matchroom, with Boxer. Again, I go back to the beginning when you were in that garage. In effect, did you ever believe you were going to get there?
Yeah, 100%. The journey's just starting. Honestly, I keep going on about visualisation, but it's all I ever do. I know the heights we're going to reach, but you need the talent to go along with it. But everything's going to plan what I ever thought. Maybe a bit slower, but it's still going to plan where I want to be.
It's been a very, very interesting conversation and chat with you, and I've really enjoyed getting to know you a bit more. I know we know each other quite well, but people out there that are watching this hopefully will understand the journey you've been through to get where you are now. As you've said, you've only just begun. You've been in this game a long, long time, but this really now is the beginning of where you wanted to get to. What are your hopes for the future from now on?
Look, just keep doing what we're doing and reach the height. Look, going back to being a realist, do you know what I mean? I think breaking it down individually, I feel like, right, he could win this title, he could get to this point. There's no ceiling for him. Do you know what I mean? Like, going back, I write everything down. I'm a realist and I think where they can get to. Titles, I want to win big titles, be on big shows, and, just keep going, building up in the rankings. Yeah.
I think you've got a very varied sort of stable of boxers at the moment, and in the pros, of course. I'm sure there'll be more to come. Do you believe you've got a world champion in your gym?
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask you who it is, but
that's a massive statement. I know how hard it is to win a world title.
Yeah.
I know that, but I do truly believe that. Certainly British and European. When you're talking world titles, that's scary, isn't it?
It's the ultimate.
Of course it is, but yeah, I don't know who's going to come to this stable, but I truly believe someone can win a world title in this stable, yeah.
So make me 3 predictions. What's going to happen in the next 5 years with Terry Spencer? Yeah, give me 3 predictions.
3 British titles without a shadow of a doubt.
Okay, that's 1 prediction. You're not getting away with it.
British. And I'm staying on titles, by the way.
Okay.
Certainly in English.
Okay.
A British and a European.
Wow.
And possibly more. 5 years is quite a long time.
It is.
Especially the way this game's going. But that's a certain. I guarantee you that. If I could put a bet on it now, I'd do it.
Now, I've got to put something in at the end of this that you didn't know I was going to do. But I've got to do it because you've talked about the passion you put in, the time you put in, the dedication you put in. No one ever says thanks to you. So, from a person sitting here that's seen what you do for other people, on behalf of everybody else in this gym, and they knew I was going to do this, you didn't know, they all want to say thank you for where you've gotten to. So, hopefully the future will be the way you want it to be. And we'll be doing this again in 5 years' time and seeing if
it comes in.
True.
Guarantee it.
And we've got one more thing to do. Your partner, Charlotte.
Yeah.
She's put up with everything. Without her, you wouldn't be you, would you?
No. Like I say, I go home and it'll be boxing still. I'll be watching it, or I'll be on my phone booking sparring in, or talking to matchmakers, whatever. Yeah, she needs a medal.
She does need a medal.
Yeah, she does, because my life's just boxing. I don't know how she puts up with me. So I love her for that.
Terry, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Jay.
And let's see what the next 5 years do.
Stop, man. Thank you, mate.